What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a second episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. Tonight, I am Gigi Fruit Loop. Much changed in the last 5 minutes since I saw you.
We got a few more Instagram likes or shares or comments or
Yeah.
it like you said, it's like a slot machine.
Yeah. I mean, my battery's draining so fast because of all the alerts, but it's a good problem to have because that means we have people interacting with us and listening and following us. So we appreciate it. Real quick, want to give a shout out again to our amazing sponsor, Andrea, with two cool t-shirt quilts. If you are on YouTube, you can look behind me and see Clemson Tiger and the Pretty Lies pillow that she made for us as gifts. Super, super sweet. And so you can go to twocooltshirtquilts.com/pretty lies and alibis and check out what she has. So before we get started on the Murdaugh stuff, we just want to say that we love having fun on this podcast and we like to laugh in the midst of some really dark stuff without it being at the expense of people. And, knowing what we found out last night about these charges, we're not going to make any jokes about the situation with Alex with the failed suicide attempt because you and I both have been through losing a friend to suicide, and it is unimaginable for the family and the friends left behind. And it's oftentimes a permanent solution to a very temporary problem. Although at the time, it's really hard to see the forest for the trees when you're in it. But we just want to say it's also National Suicide Prevention Week. So for any of our listeners out there, if you are struggling, please, please, please reach out to somebody. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline number is 1-800-273-8255 here in the US. They have different ones for across the world. But please, if you feel like nobody loves you or you have no other options, please think again because every single person is loved, whether they feel it or not. And when you're in the thick of it, you might feel alone, but situations change and things change and there is help. So we just want to say that we're just not going to go there. This is not a laughing matter.
Yep, exactly.
We may make fun of some lawyers and stuff.
Oh yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
they're fair
But we're
game.
just not gonna
Yep.
make fun of what happened to Alex or
No,
what
no.
no matter who he is, what he did, what he may have done, what we're gonna find out he's done. So
Yep,
that's just what we wanted to say. All right,
yep.
Fruit Loop. Man,
So there, as you know, there's been an arrest in the shooting attempt. Alex Murdaugh, 61-year-old Curtis Eddie Smith of Walterboro, South Carolina, was arrested yesterday afternoon. He is said to be Alex's personal drug dealer, and Alex had represented him in the past with a personal injury lawsuit as well as a traffic violation. He is charged with assisted suicide, assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, pointing and presenting a firearm, insurance fraud, and conspiracy to commit insurance fraud.
do you not think that maybe because they really could have got him with attempted murder. Do you not think this guy is going to be the one of these star witnesses for the prosecution eventually when this goes to trial?
I think so.
He knows
I
a lot.
definitely think so. He's got to know a lot.
Yeah, because I was very curious when they announced the charges last night. Attempted murder. He pointed a gun at Alec and tried to kill him. And I just thought, okay, maybe these charges are their way of saying, hey, we want you to work with us. So Curtis was in court today in Colleton County for charges that are separate from this case, but he was in court for distribution of methamphetamine and possession of marijuana. In South Carolina, it's still illegal. You can still get arrested and go to jail for it. So his bond was set at $5,000 and he did bond out. I got an alert on VineLink that he did, but he is being extradited to Hampton County to be arraigned for these charges related to Alex shooting. And I think this guy's going to sing his heart out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll cook him
Yeah.
up a little sweetheart deal, I think. You kind of think about it if so, is it where somebody who's very wealthy took advantage of somebody maybe who wasn't that needed money? I can't imagine me telling you I will shoot you if you want me to. It just but then again, if this guy's on drugs as well, we don't know that, but he's a dealer.
Yeah.
Just this goes to show you drugs doesn't discriminate. We got one of the most powerful men in South Carolina. His life is imploding. And it seems to me like we're going to find the culprit is going to be opioids.
Yeah. Wasn't there a $10 million life insurance policy or something?
Yeah, and we'll get into that, but
Yeah.
that was what Alex said his reasoning was in setting all this up is that he thought he could leave something for Buster because he knew it was all coming down around. And his lawyer was on the Today Show today, and we'll get into that. And so what's interesting is Alec hasn't been arrested, but he is named as a co-defendant in this paperwork. And his lawyer was on the Today Show today. I think it's Harpootlian. Poodleland.
Harpootlian.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Look, y'all in the South, we call it like we see it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
what's interesting is he was also Paul's lawyer for the boat case. So he said on the Today Show today that he had spent a lot of time with Paul and Maggie and Alec during these last couple of years getting ready for this trial. And he said that Maggie and Paul were very affectionate and he didn't see any problems in the marriage. They've spent a lot, not sure how much of anything they say I believe right now. He did acknowledge that he expects Alec to be arrested and face charges for his role in this attempted assisted suicide shooting. And but he says he does not anticipate that he will be arrested for anything having to do with the murders of Maggie and Paul. And he just said he did not murder them. And he also wanted the public to know that Alec was the one that got in touch with SLED about this attempted shooting. He says SLED did not reach out to them. Don't know how much of that I believe.
Well, I mean, you set up to take for somebody to shoot you.
Yeah, maybe it has
Like,
to do with his rehab. Because I know during detox, I mean, you're not immune to being arrested, I don't think, while you're in detox. I'm not sure how the laws work, but I've heard if you're in South Carolina and they have a warrant, they can go get you.
yeah.
But they're building this case while he's in there anyway.
I mean, my point is he set up to
Yeah,
defraud the insurance agency, and probably calling SLED was part of the plan.
I agree.
I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah,
We called him. We called him. Yeah.
yeah.
So Alec conspired with Curtis to shoot and kill him so that his surviving son Buster would inherit the $10 million life insurance policy. Alex's lawyer says Curtis agreed and didn't try to talk him out of it. He says Alec did this to protect his child, and he thought this was the only way to leave Buster with anything.
Now, whether or not this is the truth, I don't know. But for a hot second, I thought, okay, he's in his own messed up way. Maybe he's trying to take care of the one son he has left. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not going to believe anything until it comes out of Sled's mouth and not his lawyers because they have spun this around like a record for what, over 2 weeks now?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So
We know that the church had surveillance and we know that the FBI has that surveillance. I guess maybe the pastor said that they didn't even have time to look at the surveillance because they came and got it so quickly. And Alec admits to giving Curtis the gun and told him to shoot him in the head. And after the shooting, Curtis dumped the gun somewhere. They didn't say where. And Alec called 911. So Alec. We know people by the name of Alec that is spelled Alex. So it's like Alec, Alex. I guess it depends on where you're from in South Carolina, how you say it. So his lawyer says that he is in an out of town rehab facility and he traveled to visit him on Monday with his other lawyer, Mr. Griffin. He said it was the first conversation that he's ever had when Alec was not on opioids or Oxycontin. And Fruit Loop's like Houdini. She just disappeared. We'll keep moving. He said that Alex believed the insurance policy had an exclusion for suicide, but it's only a 2-year exclusion. And Alec did not know that. So that kind of made me wonder, he's a lawyer. How would he not know that?
yeah, exactly. So where are you at?
Right there where it's blinking in yellow. Sorry, guys, we're still really, really new to doing this. So I may not look we may not look where we're supposed to look. We're learning as we go, but we're just trying to kind of add things to our podcast, which is a lot of requests for video when we do it, so bear with us.
So you're down to me where I'm saying Alex admitted
Yeah.
where we are. Okay, just making sure. So Alex admitted to his role in this suicide for hire scheme. His lawyer also said that Alex's drug habit is a 20-year-old problem. He said that Alex was trying to get off of the opioids, had a moment of clarity, knowing things were going to get very bad for him, and tried to have himself killed, saying he clearly knew what he did was wrong. Um, his lawyer also said again that Alec had an entry and exit wound and went temporarily blind as a result of the gunshot wound. Sled still says the wounds were superficial.
Yeah, just a very different tale there between two
Yeah.
people. So Alex, his lawyer decided to tell authorities so that they could focus their resources, or Alec decided to, through his lawyer, tell Sled what really happened that day so that they could focus on finding the killers of Paul and Maggie. And as he said, not this fake crime. So he also said that this is a little weird to me. He said that he and Jim Griffin, who is Alec's other lawyer, are independently investigating people of interest in the double murder. And so the Today Show host kind of had a moment where his eyebrows went like, what are you talking about? And he said, what is the connection there to Alec? And he said he didn't want to say because that may give away their identity. But when asked what the motive would have been, he said personal. So he
Wow.
said they may know this week whether or not this person had anything to do with it. I just think that's weird because he said we're not SLED, we're not law enforcement, but what are they?
Yeah. Like,
Sherlock and Watson,
I
Holmes,
know,
one of
right?
these?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what are they doing? Like hiding behind bushes and watching
Yeah.
people? Or oh man, I just
Oh.
as prominent as Alec is, these lawyers really, to me, maybe will be proved wrong when the facts come out, but it's kind of hard to buy what they're selling.
Yeah, exactly. So, as far as the missing money at the law firm, Harpootlian says Alec used most of that money to buy drugs. Are you serious? A million? Good grief.
It's more. Fitz News says it could be as high as 8 figures. And
Wow.
I mean, how much OxyContin was he doing? There's
And
no way.
here's the other kicker. He also said Alec wrote checks for the drugs. What kind of drug dealer takes a check?
I know, right? Oh my god. I mean,
Talking about a
really?
trail.
Well, look, if he wrote checks, there is a paper trail $20 million long.
It's gonna be like Santa's list, just continue to roll and
Like a
roll and roll.
CVS, the CVS receipts that just keep going and going. I think
Exactly.
that's crazy. I don't know. I cannot wait to find out where all this money has gone.
Yeah. So his lawyer also said that people have been feeding his addiction to opioids for 20 years.
I would bet that because he's a rich man and you see it all the time with celebrities and people that have a lot of money. They have people that will enable just because they want to hang out with somebody who has a ton of money and could take them on vacations or nice things.
Yeah. So it says during that time, these individuals took advantage of his addiction and his ability to pay substantial funds for illegal drugs. Alec is not without fault, but he is just one of many whose life has been devastated by opioid addiction.
Yeah.
Millions of good grief.
I mean, we're talking millions of dollars potentially, and it's very sad. You see people when you're driving down the road that clearly are on stuff, and then
Yep.
you see somebody who's homeless, and then you see somebody like Alec who has homes all over the low country, and he's very wealthy. And the biggest thing to take away from this is it doesn't matter rich, poor. I don't care what race you are, what nationality you are. This stuff is dangerous.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Gosh, it's so sad.
Yep. It knows no border or boundary or
No, it doesn't.
rich, poor, whatever. Yeah.
Right. So, kind of switching over there, Gloria Satterfield, who was the housekeeper, this just came through a couple of hours ago. I was getting my eyes exam because I have to get my license renewed. It goes out next week. And so all these alerts were coming through while I'm in there. I'm trying to keep up with them. But SLED has reopened they have opened a criminal investigation into the housekeeper's death at the request of the Hampton County coroner. Aside from that, they're also handling or investigating how her estate was handled because her sons say they never saw a penny from that wrongful death suit that they were awarded $500,000.
That's
And
so wrong.
this is what breaks my heart. They said that at times when she was employed by the Murdaughs, she was homeless and would sometimes live in a hotel. Apparently, she has a special needs son, and it's really, really sad because in her obituary, it says she loved the Murdaugh as she loved her own family. That was in her obituary. And okay, so maybe she didn't tell him she was homeless, but to me, if somebody's been with my family 20 years and my sons have a nickname for her, I think it was Go-Go or something like that, I would make sure I paid her enough to where she couldn't be homeless. You
Exactly.
take care to people that take care of you, 'cause I bet you $100 she had a hand in raising those boys.
Yep. Yep.
And so anyways, what's interesting is this, the person that represented Gloria's kids in this wrongful death suit is Corey Fleming, who is a friend of Alex.
Wow.
I'm curious to see this wrongful death suit. Is this part of the embezzlement? Is this money that, because I'm going to tell you, that's going to be horrible if we find out that he took money that was supposed to be for her children, including one that has special needs, and embezzled that money and took it and did what he does with
Yeah.
whatever he does
Bought
with
drugs
millions
with
of
it or
dollars.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So Stephen Smith's mother released a statement saying they are not related to Curtis Smith. SLED has opened a criminal investigation into the death, which is what we just talked about. So it's just something every day.
It really is. And the other thing too is what SLED has said is they gathered information during the course of other ongoing investigations involving Alex Murdaugh that warrant the re-examination of Satterfield's death. So again, like Stephen Smith, you're finding out that as they are investigating this, whether it's digital, emails, text messages, whatever, they have found evidence to reopen 2 death investigations that are associated with that family. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
Now, what Fitz News has said today, and they've broken everything about this case, they have said that a source has told them that this investigation is going to reach far and wide in the state and beyond. And we're talking about possibly banks and judges and industries that are somehow tangled up in this Murdaugh web. It sounds like this is going to be the case that just keeps on going, keeps on going.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
It's
And
going to
then
be
you
a snowball effect.
and you
Yeah.
think about it with their influence and their money and their power. Had Alec used that for good and helped the needy and established charities and did things right, we could have a totally different situation in the low country right now where people are being helped and their lives are easier. Right now, we've got tons of families and lives in turmoil because of him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Exactly.
insane.
Yep. All
So
right.
I think that's it. That's kind of where we are. We're going to keep an eye on everything. We'll be on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. At the top of all of our social media profiles now, we have a Linktree link that has every single place we're on the internet in one spot now. Instead of putting 3 and 4 links on everything, we got one spot now where you can go. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, keep an eye on social media, and we'll probably see you maybe into the weekend. But then again, if something major happens, it's really easy for us to hop on now and do this remotely. So we'll keep you updated. We appreciate all you that are new. We just want to welcome you and say we hope you'll stick with us. We're still a work in progress, but we love what we do. So we will see you guys later.